Welcome to the Virtual Women's Forum, a groundbreaking initiative empowering women across generations. This collaboration between WSD Women and the East African community. Women's intergenerational dialogue paves the way for transformative connections. Our mission is to unite senior women leaders with young visionaries for mentorship and impactful dialogue. Centered on the theme, the role of digital technologies and social media in enhancing women's leadership and empowerment, we aim to inspire change. Join us as we explore barriers and best practices in business, technology, media, politics, and academia. Launched on International Women's Day 2025, this forum marks a decade of World Speech Day's global celebrations. Hosted by World Speech Day South Africa, we ignite momentum toward the upcoming East African Community Intergenerational Dialogue. This June and July, the dialogue continues at the EAC headquarters in Arusha, Tanzania. Together, we foster a future where women lead fearlessly, empowered by digital tools and networks. Through shared experiences and wisdom, we cultivate a space for growth and innovation. Join us in this transformative journey and let's shape the future of women's leadership together.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As a political science lecturer, I've dedicated all my career to understanding the dynamics of power. People think power is all about, political campaign, but power is beyond that. People think politics is all about, saying I want to become the president, I want to go in for election, but it is beyond that. Politics is about decision making. And we as women, we are all decision makers. Whether you're making a decision for your home, for your children, for whatever level, at whatever level, we are decision makers. And that's all about politics. That's the main idea. Politics is the making of a common decision for a group of people. And so as a political science lecturer, I've dedicated my career to understanding the dynamics of power, representation and social justice. And so today I want to share my story at this virtual platform. While I'll be sharing my story, it's not just for you to know my story, but for you to understand that I want us as women to change the narratives. The idea that the society think a woman cannot be a leader. Society think that, a woman, you just need to stay there home. No. We have to change the narrative because we have come to a point in time in history where things must change. And for things to change, women, we are the main engine through which that change is supposed to come. My journey as a lecturer hasn't been an easy one. Some years back while I was still in the university doing research, I had challenges from almost everywhere. As a woman, you have situations where people will think, look at that lady, she's into politics, she's doing political sciences. So I had all these things that kept on, people would tell me, society around would tell me, and at times the voice just became so loud. But what kept me going was my determination. I knew where I was going to. Society would tell me, look at this woman who tried, she did not succeed. Look at this other person who tried, she ended up like this. But I had my motivation. And my motivation is what I want to share to us today. What motivated me was the fact that I told myself, I'm not going to look at those who failed. I'm not going to look at those who tried and did not make it. So I took some key persons. I looked at the society. I said, okay, I'm going to look at an African woman in my context as an African. I'm going to look at an African woman who tried and actually succeeded. And I took those people as my silent model. We have the president of the African Association of Political Sciences. She's Professor Mashiko Nadine. And another great African leader who is also a lecturer in political science in the field of lectureship. She is the vice president of the International Public Policy Association, Professor Mireille Manga Edimo. I said, these are African women. If they made it, if they succeeded, then I'm going to succeed. So those were my silent models because initially I was far from them. They didn't even know I was, they were models. They didn't even know. Maybe they did not know whether I was even existing per se, even though I was taught by one of those people. And so I took them as my silent models. And the message I'm passing across today is that in whatever field you want to engage in, don't look at people who tried and failed, because that was not what I did. In every 100 or 99 person who try, you have one person who succeeds among them. And so that was my motivation. I never looked at those who tried and did not make it. I said, no, I will look at that one person who succeeded. Perhaps we breathe the same air, like people will say. We live in the same planet. The earth is not like another person lives in this other planet. And so I said, I'm going to take the story of this person who made it. What was her motivation? Oh, I said, she was actually hardworking. They were hardworking. They were determined. They studied in the same continent that I studied, the way I grew up. So why will I not make it? And so all those other people that society kept on telling me that, see this person, the person tried and failed, I had to forget about those other persons. I said, I am going to succeed. And so that was my motivation. And even during the course of my career, you have challenges, you have situations where they say, oh, as a woman, you cannot be at the forefront. But then when you know where you are going to succeed. And interestingly, I noticed when I started practicing, like when I became a lecturer and a very active lecturer, going to lecture halls, I said, no, I'm not just going to be a common lecturer. I have to make my lecturing teacher centered. I focus on the students, make it to be very, very, interactive. And I noticed that when it became more interactive, after some time, students started, I really love the way that lady teaches, because there was a difference in everything I did. There was a difference. I'm still aspiring to do better because I'm still young. I just started a career. Less than 10 years, I just started the career, and so I made everything to be tutor centered. And so students gained more interest in everything I did, and I understood that I made sure that I will be different from the men, because the society thought a woman cannot be a lecturer, not just an ordinary lecturer, but political sciences. What the society will think. Oh, she's into politics. But then I just decided to make a difference. When it comes to going to the field for research, I actually value quantitative data. I want to go there, collect raw data, see the realities myself, and motivating my students, making them to know that a woman, you're not just limited. You not just limit yourself by what society says. You not just limit yourself by what people around you would say. But then you have to do something that is different for you to be able to change the narratives. It's not just for you to do things like every other person would do it. No. Changing the narratives means you do something different from what society says. You do something different from what people think. You do something different from what people would ever imagine, because you need to break their imagination. You need to make them to feel, to know and actually believe that you are different from what they know. And that's what will gradually change the narratives. And also, the journey has not been a challenge-free one. Like I said, it hasn't been a challenge-free one. The challenges are there. If you are looking at a career where you just get inside, there's no challenge, you just do things are just very easy, everything on a platter of gold, then on this planet Earth, it may be very, very difficult. My journey into lectureship has not been a challenge-free one. There are instances where, you are working, you have the challenge, as a woman specifically, you have, challenge from the family. You have to manage the family. Yeah, you're a family. You are there. You need to be there for the family. You need to be there for your career. And then both ways you need to succeed. How do you strike a balance? It has not been a challenging one. But then how did I strike a balance? It was just, being able to do my best. When it's time to do the family assignment, I just make sure I do it best. So much so that even when I'm on the other side doing my field work or my lectureship, I'm also best there. That way, even when you're not there for the family will know that, oh, she always does her best. And also as a woman leader, finance in our continent has been a very challenging one. You may not always get the finance you want, but I want to tell you, they say riches is not all about money. It's about making a name. It's about the impact you create in your society. And as a woman out there, always there to do the best of everything you lay your hands on. If you are into lectureship, just give your best. If you are a researcher, then you must be able to do the best. Just try to do something that someone else has not done before. That's what will make you a good researcher. Because if you just want to sit down, do something that is ordinary, nobody is going to hear about you. The world may never get to know about you. But then you need to do something extraordinary. You must go to the field. Yeah. From Dr. Nayah, she says you have to go to the field. If you want to do a research like something that the world will see it and say, wow, you must go to the field. I remember last year, 2024, I was conducting a research on the health check policy in Cameroon. Health check policy is a policy that is based. It helps pregnant women during pregnancy and 2 months after pregnancy. It actually helps them pre and post natal period. And so this work I was doing, this research I was doing, I did many things. I wrote I did the first one and I presented it in the International Public Policy Summer School, and then I got feedback from the panelists. Those feedback were rich. Any other researcher would say, oh, after the feedback I'll just go ahead and publish, but then I did not end there. After I had presented it in that panel, I went back to the field. I had to do more findings. I did not just wanted any kind of ordinary research. I had to talk with these women that benefit from the health check policy. I had to talk with some pregnant women. I had to talk with women who had once benefited, to know the actual challenges, to know the actual stakes of the policy. Is it something that is appreciated? Should we just say no to it? Should we embrace it? Should we? So I had to do those findings, interaction with the community, interactions with the policy beneficiaries, interactions with those who were there to implement the policies, like the nurses, the medical personnel. And after doing much of those interactions, like field work, after doing most of those field work, at the end of time, when I published the article, I was so happy for the feedback. And that's what makes a researcher, that's what gives joy to a researcher, when you do something that actually at the end of time is really appreciated. And you out there, you must make a difference. I don't think while making a difference is going to come without challenges. No, it wouldn't come without challenges. But then just do something original as a researcher. Just do something new that nobody has done. You must be able to come out with a new finding. If you do a research and you don't have any new finding, then I'm afraid to say it's just a repetition. And then I'll just like to add that you must have a timeline. My journey as a researcher, what keeps me going, because I have a timeline. At the beginning of each year, I have the things I want to do. Maybe this period, these are the things I want to realize. Because as a woman, you have a myriad of responsibilities. You have different things you have to achieve. But without a timeline, you cannot just live as a researcher, as a lecturer by chance. You have, objectives for yourself. Institutional objectives are there that you must accomplish. But you must have things you want to accomplish on your own. We are in the month of March. At the beginning of the year, I knew that, the first 3 months I have something to publish. And by February, I already had my first publication for the year 2025. And that's how I go. I try to, balance up not just focusing on one side, because if you don't have a timeline, you risk just spending your career as a researcher. Maybe professionally you're not balanced, in your family you're not balanced. You must be at the forefront, because the Holy Book says women, we are the pillars of the world. We must be the pillars. Be the pillar of your world by changing the narratives. You must be the pillar of your world by making the world know that you can, and the world is counting on you. The world is relying on you to be the game changer.